Hello, hello, hello. Good day. Corrie Thorne, spiritual healer, coming in to do my daily live. I am so late again today. So late. But that's how life is happening. Or I'm just on time, depending on how we look at it. Depending on how that looks. So I'm just waiting for to see if anyone is joining me before I start speaking. Letting people get in here, bringing up the live. Hello, Tracy. Hello. Welcome, everybody. Welcome. So I just... Here we go. Thank you, Lordy. Thank you, Tracy. Thanks. It's that time of the year again. Sun is shining. I can wear my hats. I think I just bought this one from spring, actually, not long ago. With my little chains. Hi, Rhonda and Joanne and Aaron. Hello, hello. Hi, everybody. Welcome. I'm sorry I'm so late. My head feels crooked. I was trying to get in earlier this morning, but that didn't happen. I found myself on a crazy little magic carpet ride of a journey and got into some writing and couldn't get out of it, and into some channeling, and I just wrote another blog. So I find myself writing blogs again, which I wasn't doing for a long time. And so that really makes me happy. Good day, good day. But I just want to come in and do a few cards, a few inspirations. The sun is shining today, and there's a massive angel in my sky again today. And there's such an angelic connection, even though the world may not be fully angelic at the moment, but there's a lot of hi, Corina and Monique. Hi. And so, yeah, there's a lot of angelic-y energy that's out there. And you may not feel it. You may be thinking, where is that? Why am I not feeling it? But the angelic world, it doesn't have the same emotional connection that we do. When we see them, you have to have the ability to look beyond. You have to have the ability to look a little farther than what your eyes can see. You got to be able to see the magic sometimes in the sky. Sometimes I see angels standing right there. I can feel them. They're very, very present. But a lot of times it's in the close-ups. It's when you take pictures and you look later and you zoom in and you can see it. It is such a magical journey. So I don't know where the angels is coming from today for me, but we have a lot of angelic talk happening here today. And I can feel the angels very present with us. So there's a lot of connection to angels and to that personal relationship that I'm really truly taking through the angelic realm and the spirit world right now, as I finding myself going deeper and deeper into my connection with the spirit world, and in a bigger way, in a more profound way, of how it can be of service to the world, how we can use these gifts of who we are and what we are to be of service, to help the world, rather than be able to say to someone, oh, I can see, I love the work of seeing our loved ones, but healing. So a lot of my sessions that I do is about healing. It's about giving healing readings. It's about giving inspiration and encouragement. And I have found myself, I just recently went on TikTok. We're waiting for people to get in here, so I'm just talking. And so I just recently went on TikTok, and I started to share each and every one of these cards on TikTok with a daily reading with them. And then they go to Instagram. And I found myself, wondering why I was there. Like, it's so crazy. Why would I want to go to TikTok? And it was in a message one morning when I woke up, and I was just saying to my daughter in the same breath, like, can't believe I'm on TikTok and it's so crazy. And and a message came up, and it was a message from a person who just said to me, you know what? I just didn't know how I was going to get through another day. I had no idea how I was going to get through another day. And then I had never seen your videos before. I've never seen you before. And you showed up, and your video popped up, and it just gave me hope again. And that's the whole why. I'm like, and that's my why. That's a big, I may not be a tic-tacky, I might not have this TikTok stuff down straight, and I may not have this down pat. Like I'm not I'm not an entertainer. I'm a healer. And you're glad this live is today and not tomorrow? Well, there'll be another one tomorrow, Corina. And we have the same name, Corina. We have the same name. My legal name, my real name is Corina, except I'm spelled with 2 R's. And so yeah, and so this sense of who we are and what we are and why we do it is never about being a celebrity on TV. Or about being that. It's truly about being a healer who shows up to be of service where we can to do the right things for the right reasons. And all of my work, the creations are, my book. Yes, they're written by me. They're not channeled. They're written through my stories, but they're channeled from a place that is so much more than me. And I have such gratitude and love for where some of this stuff comes from. But it's mine, but it's not mine. And finding that. You have 3 names? Yeah, it's funny what they do to us. It's funny what they do to us, hey? Selena and Corrie. I have people, my partner's name is also Corrie. He spells his Corry. It's funny how we have all these names, isn't it? Okay. So yeah, and so back into so being this healer and this work and not, and we want to claim things, and we want to claim our energy. So what I'm going to tell you today is that you may find yourself today wanting to claim these emotions that you got happening. You might want to be claiming how you're feeling, these emotional connections to why is this happening to me? What is happening? Why is the world against me? Like all of those thoughts. And you're being told to let go of the attachment to claiming and owning and keeping those as if it's yours. You are in a time when we have a lot still happening out there in the energetic world, that no matter where you walk, no matter what door you walk through, no matter where you go to work, whatever it is, you are walking through energy, and it's invisible energy, and you can't see it. You can feel it. Now you can, if a grumpy person is whining and complaining and bitching, you can hear it and you know it. But you're picking up the energy, and you walk away and just go, what a grumpy old person, or what a grumpy person they are today. And so when you walk through it, you don't realize you also pick up that energy, but you don't wipe it off, right? And so are you speaking mainly of letting go of the material possessions in our lives? No, not really. Your personal connection to the material world. What the material world means is that everything that's in our human existence, including your emotions, including your thoughts, including you waiting for somebody else to fulfill your happiness, that's material world. So anything that exists upon earth is material world. So if you sit in your house and say, "Oh, I need to go out and have the fresh air make me feel good. Oh, I need to go out and I need to go hang out with my friends to feel happy." Those type of things. And so when we use those things, those are things that we are using to fill up on. We are here to find a way to be able to not have to rely upon that material world, but to know that we have everything that we need inside of us. Why is that not enough? Why do we not like our own company? Right? Why is that not enough? But I'm speaking also about the energy that we get from the world and what we feel in the world, what we feel in this material world. And so words have energy. The only way words ever matter, or they have any meaning, or they have any connection to you, and why they impact you how they do, is because of the energy that's behind the word. So when you're reading a text, the only energy that it has is your energy. It's not even the energy so much of the person who sent it, even though if you're having a disagreement, how you're perceiving it and reading it could be amplifying even more anger into it. And that's the energy that you get. Right? Right. And so you get in those, right. And so you get in that energy, you get attached to that energy, you walk through that energy, you feel that energy, and then you spend the rest of your day. Yes, thoughts have huge energy. And so if you just, what did I just post? Where did I just do this? I just spoke about a fork. I don't know if it's in one of my writings or no. So Karina, if you go on my podcast, so on my Facebook page below my videos, you'll see a link to She Is podcast number 8, the impossible fork to bend. And it talks about the power of your thoughts and how much energy is to your thoughts. So every thought that you have has energy. And so every time that you let your thought go to the past or go back somewhere, that is now connecting to the past and not to the now. Right? She Is podcast. Yeah. So yeah, your thoughts have, and it's amazing. Whatever thoughts that you push on to someone else or whatever you want to bring in this, I just wish they would just make a decision. I just wish they would just, and then you are projecting that energy out there. So yeah, your thoughts have energy. And so clearing our thoughts and having clear thoughts really truly do make a difference. But yeah, She Is podcast. You listen to it and it all talks about. So what I talk about a fork, and I talk about the bendable fork, and it was something, it's a tool that we use in spirit, in energy work. And it's about being able to take the hardest metal fork that you have, not the flimsy little dollar store ones, because they're easy to bend. Something that no matter how much you just try, it's almost impossible to bend. Like you got to put all this effort into it. Well, in that fork and in that conversation, I speak about when some words were said to me one day, and I used to always say, I'm done. I'm not listening to this no more. And whatever I was trying to get that fork to do, it wouldn't do it. The moment I said, after I heard these words, I am done. And I was holding this fork, and the fork just buckled right in half like this. And the energy behind that thought in my head that I just knew I was done was a projection that I put out into the universe that there was no going back. No going back. There was no return on what I had just said. Once I seen that fork bend, once you knew the power of that energy, it's crazy what's happened. Aaron, so interesting. Someone posted on Instagram this morning a book they're reading that's so much about this. It's called The Untethered Soul and sounds so much like you're talking about today. Yeah. And so a lot of this is actually written in my second book that's not out. It's Beyond the Reflection. And that's the kind of work that I speak about. I'm an energy healer. I work in energy. I'm a spiritual emotional consultant. I do all the work that helps you be able to make the link and the tie to why you do what you do and why you keep returning and repeating those cycles. And I always say the one session is just about getting the knowledge. The return sessions, the work that you have to put in is the work that makes the difference. And that's what I do. And so More Than Existing, that's what More Than Existing is about, Aaron. In a big way, it's about really, truly changing your thoughts. And when you transmute your anger words, your anger thoughts to words of love, loving actions towards you, it's amazing how your life starts to change. So yeah. You're welcome, Corina. And so, yeah. And so this journey and where we go with these cards today is all about the angels and energy, obviously. So we're working through angels and we're looking through energy. And so the beautiful transformation, which is Amira, and if you look, she's holding in her hand. So let's see if I can bring her up here. Amira, and she's number 26. I should know these numbers off by heart now. I spend so much time with them. And if you're new to this, if you're new to my page today, this is my deck of oracle cards that are coming out. Well, between myself, the artist Amelia Richard, who created the artwork, and my guides who gave me the inspiration since I was a little girl for this. Here we go. Let's bring this card up. And so this is the beautiful transformation, Amira, and she's holding the energy in her hands. And see, we often have to have something so visible. We want to see something. We want to see results. We want validation. We want to see, we want to hear somebody's words. We want that connection. We want to be there. We're like, oh, I just, if someone would just give me, if the gods would just give me a sign. Well, they've given you every sign. They've closed every door. They've given you every bunk in the head. They've given you they've had you fall to your knees 100 times. They've shown you every flag about someone's behaviors, about someone's actions. They have shown you all the things that you keep trying to control in this life that doesn't work out. They have showed you every single sign, but it's not enough, because what you're waiting for is for the universe to do the things that you need to do. Miracles in our lives happens when we take action steps. And as I said to my students last night, some of the action steps is leaning into you. So that means moving your own energy in your own body. So when you're sitting, move forward, move back, move around, see how much space you have. If you have that much space, why do you try to live in that one little minute little brain of ours that we get stuck in, right? That one little thought where we get there. And so she's standing in energy. She's standing in water. What is the power of water, and what can water do besides make you feel good, right? You walk down to the water and you look at it and go, oh, that just made me feel better. What made you feel better about going to look at that water? What made you feel better is that you shifted your energy and you moved. You start to move your legs. And when you moved your legs and you started to walk towards the water, that's what started to make you feel better. What else was making you feel better is that you were also now sitting and looking at something new, but you were focused on looking at the beauty of the water. And so there was an outside distraction that you still were using to give you a temporary satisfaction for what you were ignoring. And when you go home, if everything still is the exact same at home, then you're going home to sit in that and you return to the past. Whereas if you go to the water and you start to sit and make action plans for what you really truly need to do in your life, then you're starting to put it out there. But that means you got to ask your guides, you got to ask your angels, show me what I need to do. I'm willing to do the hard stuff, and you have to be willing to do the hard stuff. If you're not willing to do the hard stuff, if you keep trying to take the you of who you were and you're trying to bring her into your future, it is never going to happen, because you're always going to be stuck in the same story, same life. You're going to be repeating. And you can create and manifest whatever job industry. You can become a healer. I don't care what you become. Like, you can do all of that, but you'll still be living in the same story. You'll just be playing a different role. And then you'll have to be masking and hiding and masking and hiding and justifying and explaining even more again. And so the beautiful transformation is truly about knowing that the power is in your hands to be the change that you need to make. But you've got to be willing to look at it. You've got to be willing to look at what you do. You got to be willing to look at to go to your thoughts, to your words, to your actions, to everything, and where you are placing all of that hopes and dreams upon in that material world to provide for you. Oh, I advertise, Aaron, I advertise other people's work all the time. That's not ego. That's support. And we all speak the same story. Every time we're at our writers' conferences and those things, and people come in new, like we're at Hay House events, and all these new writers who've never been there, they come in and they're like, oh, I got this great idea. It's like the newest thing and no one's ever heard of it. And then they start to speak and everyone just kind of goes, mm-hmm, yeah, okay. We're channeling through. We're all receiving the same messages. They just need different voices and different faces to be able to get those messages out. And it just comes out in a different title, a different way of saying the different. And so it's like, yeah, so all of us who have been doing this for years and on these journeys, we all know how it is. I can be sitting with Colette, and Colette is saying the exact same words that I just said an hour ago. It's like, it's, but you don't know what each other is saying. So yeah, so it's about love and support. And when you don't live in fear of competition, when you don't live in fear of the world, or fearing that someone's going to be, better than you or do better than you, when you don't live in that kind of fear, you don't have those worries. I share people's work. I train women. I spend a lifetime since I started hairdressing. I train people to do the exact same kind of job that I do. I do that because I know that the more that we can be the change, the more that I can share this, the more that we can have out there. So it's just such a beautiful journey to be able to take. And I read other people's books and I share other people's work and I train. And then I also share them with my students and what they're doing and how they're growing and how they're evolving. And they're also an intricate part of the whole More Than Existing program, the school, and they're also a big part of my work. So, yeah, right. And so that's the joy. Yes, the first step is to not to live in the past, to stop looking at where you have been. Stop looking, and I don't mean that you're going to lose all that. I mean stop like trying to create your new from everything that you did wrong in the past. Everything that wasn't serving you in the past, that's not the place to start with. That's not where you're starting this. You're going to start this from where you are today. From where you are today. So the new you has to unfold because first you have to find out who you are. There's so much. First, you got to start finding out what you are. So in More Than Existing, my very first question is, what was your childhood dreams? And that's written all through my books. All of my books talk about it. What was your childhood dream? And then I take people to the question of what, what are you, not who are you? Because everybody defines themselves by their personal history. They define themselves by the roles that they play, and that's not our truth. And the last time you probably seen your true truth was the day you were born. And the rest has been programmed, conditioned to whatever it is, to fear stories, to other people's faith stories, to other people's core beliefs, to programming, to what you've experienced. So your personal history has such a big play in how you identify yourself. Your persona and what you give to the world and how you show up is not your truth. And letting it all go is a journey, and it takes time, and it's not easy, but it's so damn worth it. So damn worth it. You've got to be willing to take ownership and responsibility for your life, for your role, for what you're doing, and to be able to know, yes, the world is in our hands, and the world that's in our hands is our world, and we have to be willing to connect to that. Hello, everyone who's joining in. Hi. So nice to see you all here. Yeah, and so that's how the beautiful transformation begins. She knows where she's been, but she's looking into her possibilities. She's looking into solutions, not looking back at the problems. The longer you stay in the problem, so she's in the conduit of water, like she's being charged up by Mother Earth and by being able to also, let ourselves be washed away. And I remember last year I was sitting inside of on a magical night, how I ended up, and you've probably heard me speak about this, and it's in my book, You Can't Make This Shit Up. When that book comes out, that one's got some humor in it. That one's got a lot of humor and synchronicity in it. But that book, I speak about being taken on a wrong direction and trusting that that would be the road that I would take instead of trying to find a way to turn around. I would keep going. And there was a big cross and a big sign that says, "What are you doing on a Thursday night?" And I was supposed to be going for dinner with friends. And I took it and something just told me to go. And I end up at this church, this big City of Hope church, which is absolutely beautiful. And I walk in and this older lady comes up and meets me. She says, "Okay, you don't look like someone who belongs here. So why are you here?" And she started to laugh. She said, "I'm a volunteer and I'm here to greet you." And she says, "It's open to everybody." And I said, "I don't know why I'm here." And she said, "Are you a born again?" And I said, "How?" And she says, "Okay, let me re-ask you this. How do you wake up and live your life every day?" I said, "I wake up and live it to try to be a little bit better of a human I was than the day before. And every single day I wash away everything that I did and I give myself the opportunity to be reborn to a new day to start over." And she said, "There you go." She said, "So why are you here?" And I said, "I don't know. I feel like there's a message in here." I got a message and I heard loud and clear through God, "Corrie, this is not your church or your stage. You have your own people. Get up and leave. You heard your message that you need it from here. Thank you for coming. You can see that this is a place for some. This is not your place. You have your own place." And I listened to those voices. And that's the first thing you need to do. You have to start to listen. And that means go silent. Stop chattering. Stop talking. Just be silent with yourself. Be okay with being with you. And when you start to be okay with being with you, you stop beating yourself up and stop doing the what ifs, or stop trying to put on an act or perfection, or trying to tell other people how to live their lives. That's when you start to be able to do the difference, be the difference. Right, Raina? Right, coming at you with somebody. Yes, because that, Raina, that is more than existing, right? That ownership and responsibility. And your other options to come into more than existing in September when it starts again. Level 1 will start again September. I do have an amazing program called the Diamond Effect. It is a healing program. It is coming up at the end of April, and that's a 9-week course as well. That is going to be available to people. So it's called the Diamond Effects. It is my work with healing that I do, and it's all working with energy. It's doing an ascension process. It's about being able to see all 4 quadrants of all 4 sides of you, all the way around, and it's a beautiful journey. So our other card that comes up is She Is the Everyday Miracle. Of course she comes in. This beautiful divine mother energy comes in no matter what we do. She walks with me every day. We just finished having a big conversation, her and I, and she's the last card of the deck. She is 44. She is card number 44, and so she's the angels. Well, see, Aaron, that's why you're here, right? That's why you're here. And that's why I'm doing these messages lately for everybody. I want these messages to be for everyone, not to be selective, not to be, and I'll be back doing those individuals, but for whatever reason right now, I'm trusting that my the divine that works through me is telling me to speak to everybody, to make these collective readings. And so I'm trusting that journey. And it might not be getting me the same audience, but it gets me the people that are meant to be here today. And that's what matters to me. It is what I give from my heart, from my essence, and not from ego, that makes a difference. And so for each and every one that shows up and they stay and receive these messages, there's a healing, there's a blessing. And I'm honored to be able to do this with you. So card number 44, she's in crone energy. She's very awake, very aware. This also brings in Mary Magdalene energy, Mother Mary, Mary Magdalene, and Saint Anne. And Saint Anne for me is such a incredible connection. Saint Anne and her journey through, and I always say these women, you don't hear their stories, and it's funny how you don't hear their stories. Why is it? And well, then again, everybody tells the stories of Jesus. Like Jesus don't tell his own stories; everyone else tells. There's no book of Jesus. It's the book of everyone else telling the story of Jesus and their versions and their claim to him. And he was a man trying to walk a freedom into a new path and a new journey, and trying to make us more inclusive and more together. And we didn't have to hide behind. And it's amazing how that gets claimed. And so, so this divine Mother Mary and Saint Anne and Mary Magdalene energy truly has that divine connection, just as Mother Earth does. And the connection to Mother Earth. It is the divine mother. And every mother who has walked this earth before us and who's now on the other side are divine mothers that are here to also tell us, please don't forget you. Please don't forget you. Please don't forget to live. You're here to live. And so my most recent blog is actually called Dead While You're Alive. Dead While You're Alive. And that's what happens when we're just existing. We're not living. We're dead while we're alive. And so I write about the roses and how we cut away the roses. And so every rose that is cut away and that gets cut from its root is dead. And then we place it in the water and we believe it to be alive. And the only thing keeping it alive is the water, right? Love you, Michelle. And so the only thing keeping it alive is that water that we then place it in. So it's the same thing when you depend on the material world to keep you alive, to keep you happy, to keep you content, to keep you living your best life. And so your best life truly has to come from even on the days when, we see those struggles, we see we're going through those changes, that we're still very much alive. We still have something inside of us, that hope, that faith, that belief. And Saint Anne took me on a journey to Lac Saint Anne after the pilgrimage. And I always end up at places after big events happen for some reason. And it was pouring down rain. pouring down rain. And she took me on this journey, and everywhere I went, there was like dead flowers, there was dimes, there was feathers, and it was pouring rain. I was soaking wet, but I kept walking. I kept walking. I kept going all the way to the end, right down to the water, and I wanted to get some holy water, and I couldn't get holy water. And because it was so stormy that day and raining sideways that you couldn't get near the water, and the water was full of blue algae. And I all of a sudden heard, just walk another way. And I started to walk, and this bird landed in front of me. And when the bird landed, the bird said to me, walk this way. And I followed this bird that hopped along through this gate. And instantly, when I had to go through that gate, I had an ego trip. When I thought, oh my God, like, what if there's going to be somebody in there that can hurt me? Or what if there's what if there's homeless in there? What if, and I'm like, and then I just thought to myself, who cares? They're human beings. It's like, what makes you any better than them? Like, and I just seen how easily we can get trapped in our minds in an instant when fear can override faith. And I said, if it is, then I'm meant to sit with those people today, and I will happily sit with those people, and I'll happily hang out there. And I went around, it was just me and the bird led me to a creek, and it was muddy, it was slippery. And I just heard, that's where you'll get your water. And I had to climb down, and I had to get in there. And I said, but what if that's not where it's blessed? And I heard loud and clear, my whole world is blessed. Your whole world is blessed by us. And so it's where you're seeing your blessing, and where you're placing value in waiting for someone else to bless it for you, to give you that blessing. And with that, I knew that the journey to living a blessed life was all going to be on my faith that I had in walking the way. And so my last book that I wrote is called The Way, and it's the everyday miracles. It's that everyday miracles happens when you put the work into you. She is her own creation. You have the ability to start creating you into who you feel you need to be today, but don't be stuck to holding on to her. Don't be so hung to her that you start to create. I wake up every day as if I know nothing. I wake up as every day as a new opportunity. I don't know who I'm going to be today. I don't know what I'm going to be today. And I don't know what the world is going to bring to me today. This weekend, when I sat with a dear friend, I seen how fast life happens and how fast life changes. I see it every day. You don't know. And you don't know how many times that we have. How many books have I written? I have five books written in the last 2 years. Only one published though, Suzanne. They're so freaking expensive to publish. So only one that's published, but 5 written books that I'm slowly getting into publishing. Or actually the last book that I wrote, I think that's the one we're going to use. We're going to actually create I'm going to do an audio publication with the book, and I'm going to read the book live and do like a live book club with it before it publishes, so that we can start funding for the book to go into publishing. So I'm going to do an audio. Yeah. And I created, and these oracle cards. So these beautiful inspiration cards, inspiration and attitude, I call them. These cards I've created and written 5 books, plus started the whole school. And I didn't do it without help. There's always a lot of love and support around to get this going. And that's been this journey of when I made a choice to that I knew that I had to make a change in my life. I had to start walking into what I'm called to do. And what I'm called to do is to be a healed, good human being, to do the right things for the right reasons, to stay healthy, to make sure that I live in this human existence the best way that I can, and to learn to love life, and to love life to the fullest, and not to miss it by being a workaholic, even though I spend a lot of time writing, to be able to experience that. So with the Saint Anne, and where she came in, was she started a bigger journey for me to really truly expand beyond grandmother energy, crone energy. Man, they're tough on us. They're hard on us. They don't make it easy for us. And it's like, life is never going to be easy, but it's going to be worth it. But it is going to be worth it. And it's going to be worth the journey that you take. And that I can guarantee you. Oh, thank you, Suzanne. I so appreciate that. Okay, one last card. Oh my God, I just shuffled them all up again. And look who I got again. So I spoke about Saint Anne as I brought her up. So I just shuffled and shuffled and shuffled and shuffled and shuffled, and we got her again. And so I'm going to talk a little bit about Mother Mary and transformation, because that's when she comes in. So Mother Mary comes in for transformation for us. She comes in to be able to help us to be able to see. What she tells us is to surrender over. And the way that she comes to me, when she first came to me, and she can represent, you can give her any name you want, okay? You don't have to call her Mother Mary. You can call her the Divine. You can call her whatever you want. My personal relationship with Jesus has been since I was a little girl. And I don't have one version of Jesus. I have the version of Jesus, the man before the cross, the man on the cross, the man after the cross. I have the version of the man beyond the light, because I have walked through the light. And I can't tell you in words. I don't have words yet, because this is also like, some of this is so new for me in my spiritual journey as a mystic, because I work as a mystic and a intuitive through the mystical, through the, I work through a, like the intuitive abilities and the ability to see into that biblical realm, into that world. And so I always get asked why me, and I'm like, I don't know why me, but why not any of us? Because we're all that same. We are all just like them. They were just human beings, by the way. They were just human beings that just did the right things for the right reasons. They just knew their call, and that's all. And so as she comes in for transformation, what she tells me is that, she gave us her greatest gift, and she tells us to surrender over our greatest pain. Surrender over our greatest pain. But first you have to be able to return. You have to be able to return to the original source. You have to find that original source of pain that became like a magnetic ball inside of you, that became like a volcano, a tornado, whatever it is, like one little magnet field that just started to accumulate all this other stuff, that one little original source. And when you start to discover the original source of to where you start to lose yourself, to where you start to really find yourself, like really starting to bury those parts of you, when you find that, it's not about reliving it. It's about surrendering it. It's about being able to know that we have been given the greatest gifts. And to be a human is like the highest of the food chain here. It's the highest of the way to be able to be. And so this human experience that you're able to have, and the opportunity that you get to redo, retry all the time, no matter what even other people say, you get the opportunity to redo, to retry on a constant basis. That is always there for us, and that the divine love is unconditional. And so that place of we have been blessed to be given the greatest gifts. In return, what we're being asked is to surrender over our greatest pain, and to surrender over the most loving parts of us, the things that we hold tight to, those claim to fames of our identities. And we have to surrender it all, and to be able to let go of what you keep saying, that's the best part of me, because that is a limiting belief. What if the best part of you is just the beginning? What if the best part of you that you put out into the world is actually your shadows? What if that's not really the best part of you? What if there's so much more to you? Every day, right, Tracy? Every day she comes in. Every day Mother Mary shows up. Every day the divine mothers are here, and every day it doesn't miss. It doesn't miss, right? And so to validate, the last word is Queenie, in the eye of the beholder. And so the judgments that we place upon ourselves or other place upon us, and the reputation other people build for us, is all in the eye of the beholder. You are, if you believe what other people tell you you are, you will be living up, you'll be trying to live up to that every day. You'll try to be that. You'll try to be more than that. You'll try to be anything but that. But if you truly believe you are that of the divine, that you are a spiritual being here having that human experience, you'll stop trying to live up to anything. You'll stop trying to live up to trying to be anything for anybody. And you'll just accept, I am okay. I am who I am. And I got nothing to prove, but I have everything to live for. And that is the why to this journey, is the more that you awaken to the truth, I have everything to live for. When you see the power behind living for everything that is possible in a world that is nothing, that the world is not created yet, You start to give the feeling to what you want to feel like. And when you start to be able to feel that feeling, you you can push that into your future. I want to feel that every day of my life. That is possible to feel it. I know I'm going to have to experience the rest. I know it's coming. I know I'll have to do those things, but I know this is also possible. And the stronger we become in that core of us, the less conviction we have to hold on to becoming anything. But with that, we have the possibility to become everything. So everything that I do is not for the fact of who will I be. It's all in the beauty of experiencing who I am becoming for me. Because for the first time in my life, I can honestly say I feel like I'm alive, or for the first time in years, right? I always wonder why we're hardwired to be so right? Yes, that's programming. And so the fact that you're wondering why is the fact that you're continuing it, right? And so it's because you're programmed. It is, you hear it everywhere, you're conditioned, and then you get things like Instagram and you get things like Facebook and those places, and you see people living through these places, and you believe that to be their lives. You believe that to be true. So a lot of people that are doing like these lives, and you see them do these lives, what you're actually seeing is either a green screen, so you're seeing a green screen with a screen over the top. And so it looks like they have these big windows and they're on the ocean. And a lot of them live in like little 1 bedroom fucking apartments with nothing else around. And they give the illusion that they're living this millionaire life, and they're selling the millionaire's dream based on this story that they've created of their desire to be a millionaire, and you're being sold on that, right? And nothing wrong with it, but that's not a truth, right? And so the truth is, if they show you around a home that they own that's all paid off and it's fully theirs, and you see all the proof, and you're there with them and you're witnessing, and they got no debt and they have all the money in the bank, and then yeah, they're probably that millionaire. But the rest is like, but you believe what you see because you believe what the human eyes show you. And the human eyes and the human ears lie to you. And we receive so many messages, or we hold on to so many convictions about what we see and what we witness. If you look beyond, well, here today, this is my real little tiny office in my real little tiny room that I have. And this is real. But now somebody else could convince themselves of a story that she's got a book out, she does these cards, she's got money, she's got this, she's got that, she's living this dream life, da 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 da, right? And so then that's not my story. That's a story that somebody else creates. And so that's how we get hardwired into believing those things, because we tell ourselves stories, because everything of the reality we create is from the illusions. They're the stories that we tell ourselves and what we want to have in our lives and how we want to see it. And so we create those realities and we live in those realities. And so that's how we end up staying in misery. That's how we staying up thinking that we're hard done by. That's how we, convince ourselves of anything. That's how we can overlook the flags, the abuse, like those type of things, because we can tell ourselves any story that we want to believe. And that's what happens to us. I would say, Crystal, that would be what I was telling you. I can't remember. But yeah, I would say that's probably what it was, somewhere around there. Yeah. So guys, that's your cards for today, your message for today. Sorry I didn't get in earlier today, but I am in. And I have I have a level 3 class from my More Than Existing graduating tonight. So yay, congratulations to those women who are now going on to their level 4 of More Than Existing. There's 4 levels in More Than Existing. Well, if they want to go on, and that's to become a coach certified through the More Than Existing program. So Michelle, you see here today, she's in here. She's a graduate or graduating. She's graduating through More Than Existing. She has taken the mediumship, all the angel courses. She now works as a medium. She works as a medium, a card reader. She took my oracle card training. She's done all the courses, and now she is now also stepping up to be a big part of More Than Existing as well. So maybe possibly one of the future teachers. So yeah, and so there's so many opportunities. And if you want to work with me, you want to get into that school, go in and register in the Corrie School of Magic. That's free. You can register for free. There's lots of meditations in there. There's lots of other stuff. Go to my 2 YouTube channels, check those out. If you have not yet got my book, go to my website. You can see all the links to buy it there, CorrieThorne.com. And booking appointments with me. There are limited spaces right now. I'm not doing a whole lot of in-person, or I'm doing no in-person, all video. And so, yeah. And in between that, I'm packing to move because I'm moving. I used to live in Slave Lake for 20 years, and now I'm moving to Sylvan Lake. So I'm right in between. So, yeah. Michelle says every course is so worth it. And yes, it is. So much, much love. Thank you for staying with me today. Thank you for staying till the end. Thank you for being here every day. I so appreciate each and every one of you. And I'm so happy to be able to share this journey with you. So have a beautiful day, and I will see you all tomorrow. Bye-bye.